Hi,
Guys,
people.
well,
This is the Oti and Zinni show.
Is that it? I think it's the Zinzan and Oti show.
All right.
Today.
Whatever you want. He's the OG, so he
Nah,
gets
I'm
the
just
calls.
joking.
fans, welcome to the AG's team press conference. We've got Zinzan, Elon Puddick, and Oti Pifoletti here today. Guys, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St.
Happy
Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patty's Day.
All right, Zinzan, can you give us a sense of where the team is at following last week's loss?
Yeah, obviously, I was at home, so I watched the game from the comfort of my own home with Kyle Breitenbach, but quite a bit of a frustrating game to frustrating game to watch from home. But yeah, just ultimately we just didn't do the things that we were supposed to do during the game. A lot of work-ons came into that on Monday. As OT knows, you didn't play in that game either, did you?
No.
Yeah,
No.
so obviously a lot of work-ons, and I think ultimately we flushed that on Monday, went through what we needed to for New England this weekend, and yeah, I think the boys are fizzing excited to play this week. So we've kind of flushed that and moved on to the next job.
Oti, it's your first season in Austin. How has it been so far?
Yeah, I'm loving it. Pretty gutted that I can't taste all the barbecue because I'm full plant-based.
He's
No, no,
definitely lying.
No. Full plant-based athlete. Us the dietitians. I've never tried these as well, but apparently they're pretty good.
And talk about the team's culture and kind of what you've experienced. You came from San Diego, an also really good team, and now you're here in Austin. Team's really going well. What's it been like?
Yeah, the team culture is really good. The setup, you've obviously got your big dogs here on my right, and then obviously Sam, the coaches. He's done really well here, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, I can just answer that. I think that speaks volumes, in my opinion, because OT comes from a great program in San Diego and what they've built there over the last couple of years. And for him to actually say something about our program speaks volumes for our team as well. So we're obviously happy to have the big man on the squad this year. So
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
the big man.
Zinzan depth chart is deep at wing. Julian Dominguez, Connor Mooneyham both sit near the top of the league in tries. You've also got Caleb Strum, Cole Davis, all working for their shot. What's it been like, the competition in the wing department here this year?
No, obviously it's competition that we've never had in this organization before. So ultimately it just pushes us as individuals every single day to become better. So obviously those two guys have been hissing in the games that they've played. I think they've both scored, 4 tries each,
Yep.
roughly. So top of the try-leading list, like you said. So ultimately their performances week in and week out push me to be better, and I can speak for the other wingers as well. So yeah, I think ultimately not just in the wing position, there's quite a lot of depth everywhere. And yeah, I think overall just makes us all better players on a daily basis.
And now you're getting your chance to start this weekend. Talk about excitement towards that.
Super stoked. Obviously, Sam spoke to me on Monday and said, you asked if I'm ready to go on Saturday, and I just said yes. Of course I am. So I'm probably one of the fresher guys in camp at the moment. So pretty stoked, very excited, and yeah, just ready to grab it with both hands.
Oti, Zinzan talked about being fresh. Brian Ray with Rugby America's News asks, how much did the physicality of the LA match affect the performance against Rugby ATL?
It was a pretty physical game. LA are a very fit team. They like to keep the ball in play, and the boys were a bit being up. But I think it was a new week. I don't know, really.
I don't know. You played in the LA game. I didn't.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know.
I think obviously last year LA, everybody spoke about how good their attack was, and I think they are struggling a little bit on attack this year. But sometimes we forget how physical LA is. So I think yes, we had a few casualties in that game, and I mean coming off a massive game against LA, then ATL obviously with the loss, and now New England that's also on form. So yeah, it just shows you that in this league that there's so many teams on form, and we just kind of have to bring that A game every single week.
OT, talk about guys bringing their A game. Lerome White, Seb de Chavez, McLean Jones, all returning to action this week in the forward pack. Brian Ray asks, are things getting feisty at training knowing that there's competitions for spots within the team, especially in that forward pack?
I think it's a healthy competition.
Nice.
All the boys love pushing each other, like he said. We're not really like the backs. Comb each other's hair and everything. We get stuck in, and then we're in and we're out. But it's good to see them back. They bring a whole different vibe, different energy. They worked hard, so it's good to see them out as well.
Can you talk a little bit about Larome's
combing my
returning.
hair.
Larome coming back, Seb,
Thanks.
and
Yes.
McLean Jones.
And obviously been good teammates with Larome for a couple of years now, so just knowing what he went through in the off season and the particular injury he had, I know that he's stoked to be back, and obviously last week showed that he was pretty hungry for that position to play actually. So yeah, the fact that he gets another opportunity this weekend, super happy for him. And then Seb obviously leads from the front, so much experience, so stoked to have someone like that in the lineup as well. And then can't really say much for McLean Jones. Obviously was our MVP last year, and what he brings to the table is just absolutely massive. And yeah, what he did in his knee as well, if you think of what he went through in the off season, he was all off season. I think it was about an 8-9 month recovery. So yeah, I think he's stoked. I know that there were talks of him possibly coming back after the bye, so it's exciting to see him back a little bit earlier. So
Zinzan, Rugby Morning asks about Bodine Waka. He's had a great start to this season. What's the plan on defense to slow him down?
Yeah, obviously Bodine's had an unreal season so far. I think the Rugby Network voted him as Player of the Month first month, and yeah, so ultimately I think we're trying to do that. Something other teams have failed at doing is just putting as much pressure on him as possible. So I did notice that I just saw the lineup just came out, and he's on the bench this weekend, which is kind of, I don't know why they did that. I don't know if they're giving some of their big dogs a rest. But once he comes onto the field, I think we're just going to try and put as much pressure on him as possible in a good way. But just also realizing not going out of our system, sticking to our systems at the same time while doing that.
And Oti, Rugby Morning asks, New England's 4-1 and one of the top teams in the East. What have you seen out of them so far? What do they do well?
They're very well drilled. They've got a good pack, and then as he was talking about, the main man, he's Kiwi, so obviously he's good at footy. That's the one.
You're not
thing.
Kiwi, are you?
No.
Oh yeah, weird.
No, I don't want to be a.
Yeah, it's not.
No,
I mean,
don't.
he's in the US squad, so.
Nah. But yeah, they've got a good pack. Larson, good mates with his brother. He's been doing well as well. The flankers, and the main man running the show.
Zinzan, Rugby Rant podcast asks, the AG's points per match are up this season. Would you attribute that to personnel changes or changes in game plan?
I think ultimately our game plan hasn't changed that much. So I'd put it on personnel change. I think the coaches have done a great job in the off-season getting the right personnel to actually achieve what we wanted to achieve last year. And I think also not just that, few personnel changes, but also keeping a big group from last year together as well. So that chemistry was built, and we've just kind of built from there ultimately. So, but I think for the most part, our systems have stayed very similar. We're actually just executing this year, which is great to see.
And Oti, you've been in the league a while. Rugby Rant podcast asks, what unique challenges do you have preparing for an Eastern Conference team?
What challenges? Mauls, scrums, pretty much. They're pretty
Physical, yeah.
direct. They like coming around the corner. So
Yeah, like you said, it's the third team in a row, actually fourth team in a row that's very forward dominant. I know Seattle's got they've made a lot of changes in the offseason with their back line, but they're very forward dominant. So I mean, that's 4 games on the trot of playing teams that are very forward dominant. But I think the East do tend to, other than maybe like a NOLA, but I think they really do rely on their forward pack.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously we do as well, but yeah, I think that's probably the biggest challenge we face is, especially with New England, they've actually got quite a lot of cohesion in their forward pack, so that's something they need to sort out this weekend.
got a lot of overseas players. That's what it is.
Last question, Zinzan. James Dealey with MLR Stats asks, there are currently 3 AGs in the top 10 try scorers for the season so far. Julian Dominguez, Connor Mooneyham, Mark O'Keefe. Do you think an AG player will finish as the top try scorer this year? And if so, who?
Can I cut you off there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Special mention, Jake Turnbull. What's he on now? What's his stats? 4?
I think he's got 3, doesn't
He's
he?
got 4.
Does he have 4? If he's got 4, then he should be in the
He's
top as well.
That's why I saw it. I was
I
like,
think he's got
MLR
3.
stats, get it right, please. That's on you. Jake Turnbull.
Yeah. Were you going to answer the question, or are you going to jump in and back your forwards?
What was the question again, sorry?
Who's going to lead? If any player from the AGs would finish the season as the top try scorer, who would it be?
100% Jake Turnbull. 100%.
I personally think not someone from the AGs is going to be the top try scorer, just because I think we're such a good group at spreading the wealth in a sense. I'm not saying we're unselfish. I just think as a whole group we do well together. So I think the two boys scored quite a bit early on. I think teams are starting to realize that, and obviously our preseason, we had a great preseason, and that's probably why we were hissing pretty early on in the season. So I think some people will catch up. I think we'll have more people in the, let's say, the top 10, I think.
So in simpler words, he said, we'll maul scrum and then give it to them.
Exactly, and then we'll score. We'll
Pretty
finish
much,
it off
yeah.
for you boys. Make sure you pass it to us this weekend.
And then one more follow-up question. This weekend is She Is AG night out at the stadium. We're going to be highlighting the great women that represent our organization and our community. Do you have a special woman at home that you want to give a shout out to?
Let you go first.
After you, Zinny.
I know, obviously, I'd like to give a shout out to a few women, but firstly to my wife, Caitlin Elan Patik now. I just want to give a massive shout out to you. Love you lots. Can't wait to see you. I actually don't usually see them on the sidelines, but can't wait to see you after the game. And I love you to bits. And then obviously my mother, Deline, and then my three sisters, Joanne, Tammy, and Robin as well. So love you guys all. It's a big family. I'm only boy, so there's a lot of girls there to say.
That's from
I
the
love you
heart.
too.
That's from
Yeah,
the
it's
heart,
from the
eh?
heart. It's
Damn.
your turn. No
I
pressure.
almost
Eh?
teared up here. Holy. How can I back that? Obviously, my missus, Marky. My mom.
Don't
back
look at
at
me.
home.
Look at him.
I'm talking to you, hey. My mom back at home in Tonga. My sister in San Francisco. And then there's plenty more to name, but special mentions there.
Good luck this weekend, guys. You'll get a win.
Cheers. Thanks,
Cheers.
Willie.